Hey, what's going on? What's happening, good people, man? It's your dog, Tidy. Checking in with a real quick video, man. Hey, listen. Let's get straight to the business. Not gonna, waste a lot of time. We're gonna get straight to the business. You see the headline, right? Why are so many former NFL players trying to get the Falcons to trade Kyle Pitts? This is starting to become somewhat of an ongoing saga by week. Why are so many former NFL players campaigning to get Kyle Pitts traded from Atlanta? That's what I want to discuss and talk about very briefly here with you guys also. And make sure that you do like the video for me as well. Now, let's start off in Dez Bryant. Dez Bryant kind of really kicked it off from what I can recall. He went on Twitter and he campaigned very hard for the Falcons to trade conflicts. You can, we discussed it when it initially happened, but you can always just, if you haven't seen it yet, you can just Google his tweets and you'll see it. He was pretty much saying, hey, the Falcons are not using Kyle properly. They don't know how to use him properly. So they should trade him. And he went back and forth with Falcons fans for a strong day about that. And I think the very next day or maybe the next week, we doubled down on it and we tagged Kyle and said trade for Kyle Pitts. So Dez Bryant was one player that stood out. And then also just recently, my guys Smitty and Berto, they had a former Falcons who's an Atlanta Falcon legend, John Abraham, on their broadcast. Shout out to those guys. And John Abraham broached the subject. He was a lot more diplomatic, though, as compared to Dez. John Abraham still has a relationship with the Falcons, so, he didn't want to get caught in the headlines saying, whoa, the Falcons should trade Kyle Pitts. But just to kind of give a brief recap of what John Abraham said, he didn't necessarily come out and say the Falcons should trade Kyle Pitts. Again, he was a lot more diplomatic about it. He pretty much said, listen, I was a pass rusher for a living when I was in the NFL. I could do my thing in the 4-3 defense or the 3-4 defense. But he said pass catchers are different. Schemes matter a lot to them. Schemes are a big part of what they do and how they make their living in regards to how much money they're going to make. And if it gets to a point where pass catchers feel like they're not being utilized properly, they tend to become less engaged in the game. So again, he was a lot more reserved and a lot more careful with his words. But if you read between the lines, you can kind of piece together what he was saying. Go check out Smitty Sports Machine, man, and watch the episode with John Abraham. I think it was only like 2 days ago, I think. In fact, it was a post-game show after the Lions game. So just look for the post-game show with John Abraham and you'll see it. Just read between the lines, He didn't come out and say it, but like I say, read between the lines. And also today, Robert Griffin III was on ESPN today. And he was giving his analysis of the Dallas Cowboys and things that they need to do to become a better football team and, reach their ultimate goals as a football team. And he just came out of nowhere and said the Cowboys need to trade for Kyle Pitts. He said, I don't know what that'll cost in regards to compensation, but he said, yeah, they need to trade for Kyle Pitts. So all these former NFL players are just throwing Kyle Pitts' name in the mix when it comes to trading Kyle Pitts. And a few of us guys here on YouTube also. And it makes me wonder why. I never played a down of NFL football ever in my life. And I'm sure 99% of the people who happen to watch this or stumble across this video never played a down of NFL football in their life. But the fact that so many NFL players are coming out and saying this, they look at the game from a different lens than us fans. They're looking at stuff differently. You know, they're giving their opinion as former NFL players, knowing how the locker room works, knowing how guys think. More importantly, knowing how NFL agents think. So it's just very interesting to me that NFL players have that perspective and they're not shy about being vocal about it publicly. You know, I've talked about this subject already, of course, and I said as I see it right now, I just don't see how Kyle Pitts, fits in this game, man. And what concerns me is if he doesn't become more of a vocal point or a vocal part, more of a priority in this offense, I think he's going to become disgruntled. And him and his agent will have a talk. And I think that talk may go something like, this is not the best situation for me. Only got 1 year left on my rookie contract before the 5th year option comes. And look, in order for me, when it's time for me to renew when it's time for me to sign an extension, in order for me to get that tight end contract record for one of the highest paid tight ends in history, in order for me to get that kind of contract, I got to have some numbers to bring to the negotiation table when it's time to sit down with this owner or the GM, whoever that may be. You know, if I'm having these back-to-back seasons where I'm only having 40 catches, 500 yards, 2 or 3 touchdowns, it's going to be extremely hard to convince an owner and a GM to give me the kind of money that we're going to need, that we're going to be looking to get on our next contract. So that kind of concerns me also a little bit as a Falcons fan at this point in the season. And I really think that's what the NFL players know. They know what happens behind the scenes. They know how the agents think. They know how the players think. You know, it's one thing to be somewhere when you're winning, like in New England when you win the Super Bowls. Yeah, you may take less money because you're winning Super Bowls. And John Abraham spoke on that as well. But unfortunately for the Falcons, we're not winning any Super Bowls. And I didn't bet any money that we win it this year. I hope we do. I would love for us to do, but I don't think this is the year it's going to happen. But it's just very interesting, you know, seeing former NFL players just being very vocal about pretty much saying, hey, Kyle Pitts needs to get out of Atlanta. If he wants to reach his full potential as an NFL player, based on his skill set, based on what he does best, Atlanta's not the place for him. You know, that's just very, very interesting as I look across the internet and I'm just seeing these sound bites, these tweets, and what have you, you know. But look, this will be a story that we'll continue to cover. Because, again, I'm not shy about saying it, and I will repeat it as much as I need to. At the end of this season, if Kyle Pitts has another mediocre year as far as production goes, the Falcons need to put him on the trading block and see what kind of offers they get. And before anybody jumps down my throat, this is not an indictment on Kyle Pitts. I just don't feel like he's a scheme fit at this time, based on what we do offensively, based on the quarterback that we have currently on the team. So this is not an indictment on Kyle. I'm not saying that Kyle is sorry. I'm not saying he's trash. I'm not even calling him mediocre. I think in the right scheme, right situation, right head coach, right quarterback, Kyle Pitts could potentially be one of the best tight ends in the NFL. And we thought he was headed that way his very first year with Matt Ryan, but that's something totally different. That's obviously not the scheme and the kind of offense that Arthur Smith wanted to run. And I feel like his hand was kind of forced to run that kind of offense based on what he inherited his first year as a head coach. But listen, I didn't want to make this video too long. Again, we'll continue to cover this situation. But do me a favor. Let me know what you think, man. Let me know what you think about former NFL players campaigning for Kyle Pitts to be traded. Let me know what you think about that. And let me know, do you think it's a good or a bad idea to consider putting Kyle Pitts on the trading block? Let me know what you think about that also. So y'all know how we do. Let's run up these comments. Let's have some good dialogue in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, make sure that you subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, that way you're notified anytime we drop a video. All right, I'm going to get with y'all later. I'll see y'all the next time I see y'all. Peace.